Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg released a statement Monday acknowledging that Facebook actively censored information on COVID-19 and the Hunter Biden corruption scandal due to direct pressure from the federal government. Facts previously revealed by Elon Musk through the Twitter files had already made it clear that government agencies like the FBI, CIA, and NSA were regularly demanding the censorship of American citizens by social media companies, but the letter from Zuckerberg sent to the House Judiciary Committee serves as a smoking gun. The official Republican House Judiciary account on Twitter celebrated this admission as a victory for free speech, but nothing could be further from the truth. Despite the admission that government actors used censorship to interfere in the 2020 election and silence dissent during the pandemic, no one faces criminal prosecution, and no one is getting fired. The only lesson the Democratic Party and Deep State have learned is that censorship works. Once the secret police start rigging elections, you must take swift action or things get bad fast. That's exactly what's happened in the United States. But no one in the GOP seems very interested in holding the FBI accountable. Zuckerberg's letter revealed that leading up to the 2020 election, the FBI lied to Facebook executives by claiming that any story about the Biden family's connection to the Ukrainian energy conglomerate Burisma was Russian disinformation. Facebook took this warning seriously and suppressed the story on its platform, denying millions of voters the information they needed to make an informed choice during the election. Other social media companies took similar actions. Twitter went so far as to lock the account of the New York Post for its story about Hunter Biden's laptop. We know now that that story was true, and the FBI knew it was true as well. However, the FBI wanted to rig the election in favor of Joe Biden, so agency officials use their position of power to lie to corporations that control the flow of information in the United States to influence the presidential contest. Zuckerberg's apparent change of heart is at least theoretically great news. The billionaire wields enormous influence over how Americans interact with information. He also spent hundreds of millions of dollars in 2020 to reshape local election infrastructure to favor the Democratic Party's machine politics, as Molly Hemingway outlined in her book, Rigged. If Zuckerberg now feels compelled to admit his previous bias and commit to neutrality in the upcoming election, it could shift the results of a close contest all by itself. Of course, it's entirely possible that Zuckerberg is lying and still sympathizes with the Democrats. However, if he feels pressured to play things closer down the middle, well, that's significant. None of this should be seen as a win for the GOP and its representatives in Congress. Both FBI Director Christopher Wray and Deputy Director Paul Abbott appeared to perjure themselves on live television during their testimony about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. We now know for a fact that the FBI acted to influence the election by spreading lies to social media companies, which then censored critical information leading up to the 2020 election. Democrats don't hesitate to bring charges against their political enemies, as shown by their efforts to imprison Donald Trump for the rest of his life on absurdly manufactured charges. Yet even when Republicans have direct evidence of wrongdoing by the FBI, the most their supporters can hope for is a social media post declaring a false victory. This feels an awful lot like an embarrassing echo of George W. Bush's Mission Accomplished speech during the War on Terror, though at least in that case, some jihadis were actually killed. Many conservatives may not even know what constitutes a victory at this point, so let's make it clear. A victory occurs when those that violated the law and corrupted institutions critical to the rule of law are fired, impeached, or jailed. Simply revealing that the FBI lied to social media companies to manipulate the election and successfully install their preferred candidate without any repercussions is not a victory. All this admission really does is show that the GOP is a fake opposition, powerless to prevent abusive manipulation by a modern Praetorian Guard. Only life-altering consequences will stop the abusive actions of an elite class that feels entitled to shape the nation as its members see fit. And the GOP's repeated refusal to even threaten these type of actions lends itself to a very simple conclusion. The Republicans aren't opposed to what's happening. They are not outside this elite ruling class. They do not have separate incentives, loyalties, or motivations. They are a part of this. They are enabling this. They are accomplices to this. To call the FBI a rogue organization would be a misnomer. A rogue actor is one that is no longer operating in accordance with the will of the government. But the FBI is not working against the wishes of the American government. It is instead shaping that very government from the top down. The FBI can lie about the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate, lie to media organizations, and censor critical information to alter the outcome of elections, and intimidate and incarcerate their political opposition. This is ruled by a police force, a reign defined by the ability to lie and to terrorize the American public. By every available definition, this is tyranny. Republicans are clearly afraid to challenge the FBI in any meaningful way. Donald Trump hasn't helped much either, as he seems more interested in building a shiny new headquarters for the federal police agency than holding any of them accountable. If they are not entirely bought and sold, if they are not entirely complicit, then someone in the GOP needs to take this issue seriously right now. The FBI must be dismantled from the top to the bottom, and those responsible must go to jail. Without serious and immediate action, law and order in the United States will continue to degrade, and civil strife will increase. The right needs real political opposition, not the complicit clown show that the Republicans have been running. And if they don't get it soon, things will get even worse. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to get these broadcasts as podcasts, make sure to subscribe to the Auron MacIntyre Show on your favorite podcast platform, and if you do, leave a rating or review. It really helps with the algorithm magic. And speaking of the algorithm magic, if you'd like to pick up my book, The Total State, you can do that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or order it at your local bookstore. And if you do it on Amazon, feel free to leave a rating or review there as well. If you'd like to follow me on Gab, or Twitter, or Substack, or Instagram, or get these videos on Rumble or Odyssey, the links to do all of that are down below in the description. As many of you know, election season is upon us, and as we get closer to the election, that censorship is going to ratchet way up. So if you want to make sure that you can always get all of my content, make sure that you also subscribe to The Blaze. All of my episodes appear completely uncensored on Blaze TV, and of course you can read all of my columns at Blaze News as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.